bought a few books. Let's talk about it. Pretty excited to share this book haul with you, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we can get through the video before nap time is over. So send sleepy good vibes. Whew, here we go. Reading has become my number one go-to hobby in my new life as a mom. And I think that's because it's easy to pop open a book or take out my Kindle when I find these small pockets of time versus some of my other hobbies and interests that require a bit more setup. And really, when I think about it, I am reading the most at night because I'm getting up with my baby and I need a way to stay awake. So the Kindle has been lovely for that. During the day, I've found right when we're getting ready for nap time, I can sneak in a little bit of reading as well. And I've just been spending a lot of time on book talk, especially watching Nick from Books Are Sick. He is so just he's awesome in every single way. And so when I watch his videos, I'm like, my TBR is just like out of control. So I'll partially blame him for this book haul, but actually I don't think any of these books are books that he's talked about. So I'm not really sure how that works out. There might be one in here that he's recommended. But yes, let's get into the books. We want to see the books, right? There are two sort of outlier stores that I purchased from that I guess we'll start with. And the first one is this copy of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass that I got from Nerdy Inc., if I remember the site correctly. And I'll find links and have that in the description box below if you want to take a closer look. This is just a gorgeous copy. I think we can all agree it has those nice little sprayed edges, and the illustrations in here are absolutely wonderful, whimsical, all the things that you would associate with Alice in Wonderland. I thought it would be fun to re-experience this book and read it to my child. So we've been enjoying about a chapter at a time every day, just throwing it in the rotation of picture and board books that we have. It's something that my child and maybe future children, I don't know, don't ask me about that, it'll be reread and enjoyed for years to come. Ooh, sweating with the words today. Sorry about that. The next book that I have here is Our Violent Ends, and this is a Barnes & Noble exclusive that I pre-ordered a couple months ago and forgot about, so it was a nice surprise. When they shipped it to me, however, the cover was all messed up. I don't know. Barnes & Noble really is hit and miss with ordering online. I do not like that about Barnes & Noble. I brought the copy into the store and exchanged it for this copy, which, as we can see, it looks very nice. And I know books are meant to be read and they're gonna go through the ringer sometimes, but if I bought a new copy, I want it to look new. This is the second book in the Violent Delights duology. The first book is These Violent Delights, and then this one. And then there's the trilogy after. I still have to read Foul Heart Huntsman, but the Violent duology is a Romeo and Juliet retelling based in Shanghai, and Chloe Gong has an amazing way with words, but I think because I'm still rebuilding my reading muscles, it took a little bit extra effort. I remember reading a couple of sentences from the first book over and over and over. I think I read the first page maybe 10 times before I finally got going, and this is easily one of the best series that I've read since I started my reading journey again. This Barnes & Noble exclusive has additional special content. I think it's Roma's POV from one of the scenes. I haven't read it yet, but I also got a copy for my sister who's reading the series as well. And look at it, it's got like this nice artwork. I don't want to bend the book, but I'm very excited about that. The rest of these books are from Book Outlet, and I'm a little Book Outlet crazy at the moment. There are some things that some concerns I guess I'll share with you, but for the most part my experience has been pretty good, and you could probably see from the amount of books that I've ordered that I will probably order from them again. So basically they sell books at a discounted price that are, I guess, an overstock or an oversupply. They have some little quirks about them, but for the most part, they are lovely and still readable. My first order from them actually consisted of a bunch of copies of The Way of the Warrior Kid #2. It's one of the series that I'm enjoying with my child at the moment, and I wanted to give them away as party favors. And then I also ordered some books that I wanted to put in our little free library. I'm very, very excited. We're starting a little free library, and I'll probably do an entire video just kind of taking you through that. These books here are for my enjoyment, so let's get to it. I think it's a duology. A Magic Steeped in Poison and A Venom Dark and Sweet by Judy Lynn. I saw someone on TikTok reading this. I'm so easily influenced, but I just thought the covers of these books were gorgeous. From what I understand, this book has a magic system based on different teas, and I like tea, so there you go. That's pretty much all I know about the books. You'll see that some of these books have this little dot here, and that's basically indicating that it was an overstock or remainder book that gets sent to Book Outlet, and then they're able to sell it to us for a very discounted price. And I'm happy to save these books. Yes, I am adopting saving these books. That's how my mind is working right now. And I'm not sure, I'll have to look a little bit further into any content warnings, but I think this is also a story that I might enjoy reading with my child. I also picked up my first graphic novel that I've ever read, and it is Hungry Ghosts by Victoria Ying. I already read this, and this was one of the first, I think this is the first physical book that I've read since I became a mom. Everything else has been on my Kindle so far, but picking up a physical book again and flipping through it was wonderful. This graphic novel is about a girl named Val, and she is dealing with an eating disorder, and there is an event of grief that sort of takes you on a journey with her in dealing with that disorder. I don't want to give too much away. I would read more graphic novels based off of my experience with this, so I'd recommend it to you. Just be forewarned. You may want to look into the trigger warnings for the eating disorders and grief before diving into that. I also picked up this copy of The Littlest Library by Poppy Alexander. I thought it would be cute to read a book about this lady named Jess who I think she starts a little free library. She turns this phone box into a library, and she used to be a librarian. I am not sure what the recommended age group for this is. I'm assuming young adult. I clearly did not do much research, but the cover and the quick little blurb about it was enough for me to say, hey, add to cart. Here's the thing. So I feel like I've become quite click happy when it comes to online book shopping now, especially from Book Outlet, because if for some reason I don't like the book, I'll just put it in our little free library. If it's not a book for me, I'll just share it with the world, and it'll find its way into the hands of a reader who will enjoy it. That's a very dangerous line of logic there, but that's where I'm at right now. I picked up this copy of The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I want to read the book. I haven't read the book. I haven't watched the show either. I know that it's going to be worth my time, or I'm pretty sure it's going to be worth my time. It has these nice gilded edges, and it has a leather-like cover. The light is actually playing tricks on your eyeballs, I think. There's a scratch here and a couple of scratches here. I actually had an incident with my first order. The cover was really it just didn't look the greatest. And I contacted customer service and they were great about it. So I haven't read any of the Magnolia Parks universe or any of the books from Jessa Hastings. And I realized that this is part of the series, but I thought I'd go ahead and just pick it up in anticipation of me reading it. I do hope to eventually pick up the UK covers because they are lovely, and I don't know why we had to do this. The floppiness of the book I appreciate. Like, that's pretty nice. Yeah, I like it. This particular copy did have a couple of dings, and it actually doesn't look too bad on camera. Looks pretty decent, but in person I was a little disappointed when I opened the box. Like, oh, it just hurts my heart when books are bent. I know that this series has just polarizing opinions. Some people love it, some people absolutely hate it with every fiber of their being. I'm excited to see which camp I end up in. Okay, this copy, The Hunting Wives of Cobb. Let's first talk about its condition. It's not the greatest. It looks like it looks like it got trampled on and stabbed a couple times. If I remember correctly, this book follows a woman who ends up joining this group or befriends a group of other women who end up being murderers or something. I don't know. I actually, maybe it's a cult thing. We'll find out when I read it. If you've read it, feel free to pop in the comments below. Let us know what you thought about it. But no spoilers, please. I picked up a thriller, and the funny thing is, I don't know if my poor little anxious heart can handle a thriller. I think I still am dealing with a little bit of lingering postpartum anxiety as well. I may have to wait a little bit longer before I read this. Haley Pham has talked about this in one of her older videos, and I think overall she's a huge Riley Sager fan, and I think the repetition of hearing his name prompted me to add this to cart. And The House Across the Lake in hardcover. I'm a sucker for a good looking book, and this is definitely a good looking book in my opinion. These are the first two books in the Addicted Calloway series, Addicted to You and Ricochet. I committed, and I think if I remember correctly, I just went through and read all 10 books right after one another. Maybe there was a book break in between. For the most part, I was committed to Lily, Lo, Daisy, Reich, Rose, and Connor for a good chunk of time there. This definitely has some mature, spicy content, but I think in comparison to some of the other books that I've read in this genre, this has more going on for it than just that. I fell in love with the characters enough to read 10 books about them, and that last book was really long. Whew. Each of these copies have exclusive bonus material, which I wasn't aware of when I picked them up. I only realized it after I opened the box. So I haven't read it yet. Maybe I'll do some sort of live reaction to it. I don't think it's anything crazy. This series was a good time. Oh, here, see, it's a bit squashed here. The line on this one, that little remainder line, I think that's what they call it, the remainder mark. It kind of bled up onto the front of the book. A bit unfortunate, but still excited to put these on my little shelf back here. Last but certainly not least, I picked up this copy of Matilda. It has these wonderful little illustrations. It was one of my favorite stories when I was young, so excited to share this with my child. Those were all the books that I have picked up recently. I will admit that I have 8 more books sitting in my cart right now. Oh, if you want to, no pressure, but I think I have a referral link for Book Outlet if you want to check them out. Thank you so much for letting me share this with you. Wow, take a shot for every time I said that I was excited in this video, but I am very excited to get back into making content, all things book and stationery related. So if you haven't already, please hit subscribe. Feel free to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Lots of fun things will be linked in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what books you have picked up recently. With so much love and gratitude. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.